Well, this Portland team that you're going to see tomorrow is the second youngest. You guys are the youngest team in the NBA. What stands out about them, and some ways that you guys are going to have to deal with the talent that they have on that team?
Yeah, they're a young, hungry team just like we are, and they want to prove a lot just like we do. So every team in the NBA is a good team, and can't go into this game lightly. We got to go in there and get better. So just go in there and get better.
People talk about January kind of being some of the tougher, grinded out days. You guys seem to not mind to grind it out in general as a team. What have you learned over your first few years about what it takes to play really good basketball during this stretch of the year?
Yeah, really it's just running through the race, not looking at it as a game that's in the end of January, just looking at it as another game that we got to go in there and get better, play our way, brand of basketball, and try to learn from the game. No matter what the outcome is, just learn through it.
Jaylin, just zooming out a bit here for Doug, because you guys came in together. Just the weight he's put on since his rookie year physically, I guess how do you think that's maybe changed what he demands of himself, and I guess what's demanded of him around here?
Yeah, I think it was after my rookie years when Doug put on a lot of muscle, but he came back and you could just see it in his game. The way his game kind of just developed throughout the years. He uses his body a lot more, bump fades, driving to the basket, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. Doug, his game is really good, and he's using his body at a high level.
And obviously, because you guys are so good, winning so many games, there's a heightened level of expectations against for everybody across the roster. But for Doug specifically, I mean, he's in his third year, and he has these all-star level expectations. I guess how have you seen him sort of handle what comes with everything, and maybe keep perspective as a third-year player?
I can't tell you what Doug's expectations for himself is or things like that, but I know that Doug has rose to the occasion. Anytime he's gotten better every single year. I feel like he gets better every single game, and there's been a lot of different challenges, like him playing center this year, and he stepped up to the play. And Doug, he just gets better and better, and it's because of the work that he puts in.
What do you think of the job Carlson's done over the last week, kind of stepping up as the backup center?
Yeah, BC has been great. I feel like every time he shoots the ball, it's good, and it's fun watching him out there. I talk to him a lot. Throughout my recovery process, we were in a lot of the high sessions together, competing against each other. So me and him got close. Our lockers are right next to each other in the locker room. We talk about different things. Our first conversation, it was just like a joking conversation. So just seeing him out there succeed and making shots, it's always great to see another teammate, another friend of mine succeed out there.
Marcel, you've done a great job of praising your improved pick and roll defense, but what to you has gotten you better in that category?
I'm just trying to compete, honestly. I have no idea if it's better or not. I'm just going out there competing. But I'm trying to get better with my stances, be in better shape, being more aggressive. But a lot of it has to do with our other guys. The other guys are so great. We have such great on-ball defenders that are fighting over the screens, guarding the guards at a high level. It's where it makes my job easy. So I'll give a lot of credit to those guys.
Is the way that you cover the pick and roll in this system kind of different from what you've seen in the past?
At Arkansas, I just sat in the paint the whole time. So that was my pick and roll coverage. So it's a lot different. We play better guys. Different coverages, depending on who we're playing, it's a different coverage, but it's a lot different from what I'm used to.
You're a tough adjustment.
I wouldn't say it's a tough adjustment. We got a lot of reps, like my rookie year being in the G, I got a lot of reps through that, but I wouldn't say it's a tough adjustment.
You mentioned the other day that you guys treat every game the same, an opportunity to get better. How do you find the balance between realizing games are a little bit heightened but not giving it too much of that attention?
I mean, we try to fully compete in every game, because the game that you're playing is the only one you get to play that day. So tomorrow's game against Portland is the most important game of the season in one way, because it's the only game we get to play tomorrow. But then after that, we try to strip that emotion away, take the lessons from it, and pour that into being a better team the next day, and then fully compete in that game. So, when I say it's 1 of 82, 1 of 82 is important. Those ones stack up to equal your season. But at the same time, I do think you can get in trouble if you start to discriminate as to one game being more important than the next in the regular season. They accumulate to give you every opportunity to be the best team you can be.
We didn't ask you about K-Sin the other day. Is everything with him okay?
We're going to update all the injuries. Will be updated when we report later tonight, so you guys will get all the updates there.
Mark, just concerning Alex specifically, I mean, I asked him the other night about what he's learned about sort of the series between you guys and the Mavericks, and he was just saying that his role in it is to kind of reel the emotions and kind of herd you guys in that way to keep you guys locked in. Because I think his exact words are, when you guys are locked in and being the best team you could be, that's the difference between winning games and actually winning a championship. Just as far as his role that you're just playing that sort of role, I guess, what have you seen
With AC.
Yeah.
I mean, from the minute I ever met him, the two things that I can always say about him is he is perpetually inside the team. He's never selfish, ever. He's only thinking about the team all the time. There's never a time I've ever been around him that he's not thinking in a selfless, team-oriented manner, and he's always present in the competition. Watch the game tomorrow, choose a random dead ball, and just watch him. And he will be looking at the shot clock. He'll be looking at the other coach. He'll be talking to his teammates about an assignment. And he'll do that on the bench when he's not even in the game. His competitive presence is elite. And there's other guys that are like that, but not many. And so both of those things have a contagiousness to them that I think help every team he's on, help every court that he steps on. And to me, that's the value that he brings to teams. It's not about what the end goals are. It's more about the way that he impacts the team in a moment by moment manner. That's what I appreciate most about him.
I guess I'd follow up by asking, I don't know if this is even the right term, but do you think like emotional intelligence matters in the NBA? And I guess what does he add in that sense?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge emotional. Your team's emotional temperament is really important in the NBA because there's a lot of ups and downs in the season, and if you're riding the emotional waves in an individual game, or you're riding the emotional waves in a season, that can be very distracting from progress. And it's when you think of emotions, I think people usually associate with negative emotions, but the same thing happens with positive emotions. If you go on a run in the second quarter and everybody's excited, but you can't reel yourself back into the moment, your ability to sustain that level of play goes down. If you win, some games in a row and you start believing that you're better than you are, which is an emotion, it can distract you from progress and it can lead to slippage and complacency. So he's excellent at that, but I think we have a team that's very good at that.
I know you're kind of just colliding with Portland here, but you've seen him a few times. It seems like Simons is a pretty strong bellwether for them. When he scores more than 20, they have a drastically different record. What is it about maybe him and the way that they play that if he has a good game, it tends to lead to positive outcomes for them?
Well, he makes threes, and those points stack up. And then when he gets it going and you have to react to that, you can get into rotation and it can activate the rest of their team. So they're playing really well right now. They're on a nice streak and have played quality basketball from what I've seen and from what our assistants have seen. And it's always a tough place to play there. So it's a tall challenge and a good opportunity.
I was just talking to Kenrich about stopping dribble penetration. He was saying game plan discipline is the number one key. What maybe do you see within that game plan discipline that's critical in terms of you guys stopping teams from getting downhill?
Depends on the player, at his point. I think it's, there's some guys that are going to have the ball in their hands more. Simons tomorrow is an example of that. Grant, is an example of that. So some of it's that, the point of attack, either the coverage or the individual D of those guys. And then it becomes a closeout game, and you've got to know who you're closing to and close appropriately. And that's been a strength of our team all season. But when we slip defensively, that's one of the areas we slip.
What do you think of J-Dub's shot-making ability to get to the line these last couple of games?
He's getting to the line 9.5 free throws per 100 in the last 9 or 10 games, which is an elite rate. So I give him a lot of credit because this has obviously been a point of emphasis for him for much of the season. And it didn't start great. It wasn't like he had immediate success once he started focusing on it. If anything, he struggled more once he started focusing on it. And for a young guy that's ambitious, that is having success in other areas of his game, to have the foresight and maturity to be able to say, this is an area that is going to allow me to be a better player and allow us to be a better team. I'm going to focus on it even in the face of failure. I have a lot of respect for that. And now it's starting to turn for him.
You do what he's done in his stretch is sustainable? Then you think he's like what's changed specifically? I guess if you had to get granular.
Well, I think he's definitely learning the situations that, when a guy reaches in and you gather and rip through that, you're putting the official in a position where he has to make that call, and you're punishing the defense for a lack of hand discipline. He's learning some of those tricks. He's more forceful on the drives. He's going more, and it's put the officials in positions where they've had to call more, and that's what we've said all along. Is like he doesn't get a great whistle, but the more you go and the more relentless you are, and the better you get at it, the more you put the officials in a position where the whistle can come around for you. And I think that's what's happening right now.
He's developed from obviously a guy that was a system player, had the system skills, into a guy that has a lot more one-on-one attacking responsibility. What do you see from him in terms of being able to switch gears to that, to go, to be a guy that's cutting and moving off ball and back screening and all that stuff, to then this role too?
Yeah, the system skills for any player create the highest possible floor, because if you're good at those things, you can play in the games and you can be on the court. And so that's where we start every single player. The guys that are highly effective within that diet, and that they kind of like burst through their role a little bit. And like I was saying a couple other times, you got to listen to that, and it becomes very obvious that they can handle more, and then you give them more from there. But even then, if he creates a play and the ball goes to the second side and somebody else is creating over there, he now becomes a system player again, and he needs to go back to those skills. So every player needs those, even within a given possession. Even the highest level creators, Shea found a dunker dunk the other night against Dallas. I mean, that's a great example of it. Like he got off the ball, he emptied, he's now down the floor right where Casey Wallace usually is. So those skills are important for every player. They're really important foundationally, though, for the players to be able to get out there and play.
Anybody else?
All right.
Thank you.